So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Roundtable 74th session at a stretch. Today we are discussing on masking, one of the very important topic, masking for life, double masking, fashionable mask, and the quality available. And we have respected speakers. I will love to introduce Dr. Kalra over here, and he will further introduce all the speakers. Dr. Kalra is the former CEO for NABH and an expert member in Heartcare Foundation of India for Quality Department. Over to you, Dr. Kalra.
Thank you, Saurabh. Good morning to all, and I welcome all the participants and our special invited guest to this 74th meeting of the SCFI Roundtable Expert Group. Today, we will be discussing on the quality of mask, and speakers, there will be 4 people contributing to our discussions. Then after that, after hearing them, then we will start discussion. So Dr. Ashok Gupta will give his presentation, followed by Mr. Anil Johri, who is a ex-CEO NABCB Quality Council of India, and Mr. J.K. Gupta, he's from BIS department, formulation of standards in the Indian context. And Dr. Ashok Gupta has invited 2 more experts. One is Professor Naveen Kumar Navani from IIT Roorkee and Professor Kapil Punjabi from IIT Mumbai. So then we'll start discussion. I will not now waste much time because today they are long discussions. So just straight away, I will hand over to, again, today's chair will be same, Dr. Arun yeah. Please, you continue to be the chair because this is a part 2 meeting today regarding the mask. Dr. Jamkar, over to you. You first invite.
Thank you.
And I will request all the speakers just be in time frame. Dr. Ashok Gupta.
Thank you very much.
Over to Dr. Arun Jamkar.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Kalra, for asking me to chair. I think the discussion is very interesting, and we already have introduced Dr. Gupta. So I think straight away I will request Dr. Gupta to start.
Thank you, Professor Jamkar, and thank you, Dr. Kalra and Saurabh, for again allowing me to share my some of the questions. This is not my experience, but there's some of the queries which I could find in the marketplace. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, but you are still in File Explorer.
Yeah. I'm just using this one, and I will share. Now the biggest question which has come here is whether coating a mask is vital, whether coating a mask is important, and how safe are they? Because there are several types of masks available. The face mask, I was going through the literature and some of the web information. In 2019, the global face market was almost $6,800 million. Now in 2027, the market is expected to grow by $9,000 million. So this is the only market which is growing so rapidly, and which is the compound annual growth rate, which is called as a CAGR, around 11%. And there's no other consumer product which is growing so rapidly. So we have to be a little careful how, as a healthcare expert, how are we dealing with this growth. Now, health regulatory authorities recommend the use of N95 masks to be limited to healthcare workers primarily, and which is very, very vital. Number of other individuals are buying these masks to diminish the risk of getting COVID-19 infection. And
Dr. Ashok, we cannot see your presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it's visible.
No,
You are still on File Explorer.
Explorer is only visible.
You need to open the presentation. You probably need to stop the screen and select the presentation to share.
Should I share?
Is it visible now?
No. You have to let me stop the presentation.
You have to come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to stop sharing. You have to stop
Choose the
sharing,
presentation.
and then share again, and then click that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. So is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, now what I was saying, that the number of other individuals are buying these masks to diminish risk of getting COVID, but that is also causing a lot of problem. The other very important point which we need to worry is that counterfeit brands are usually available in developing economics, and these are also people, those who are price sensitive. There's a low quality often leads to safety issue, and instances of numerous product labeling product with a fake brand are also finding. I mean, several masks are being sold as a 3M mask and various companies, etc. And you must use only the patented technology which have got international certification and which are based on the peer-reviewed literature. This has been echoed by several publications which I have gone through, whether it is approved by FDA, approved by CDC, and approved by several Lancet, etc. Everywhere they have echoed this sentiment that we must use only the patented technology. Now, non-woven masks are manufactured using plastic variants such as the polypropylene, etc. Asia Pacific has emerged as the largest market for disposable face masks in 2019, and China and India are amongst the most substantial disposable mask manufacturing countries in the world. So we have equal responsibility of making a quality product. Now, face masks are ticking bomb. This is again one of the biggest warning people have been warning. The 3 million coverings are thrown out every minute and serve as a carrier of other toxicants in the environment. So it is very, very vital for us to be very careful what we are throwing and how to dispose of. And I had requested Dr. Kalra again to take a session on biomedical waste disposal, which is very, very important point. Now, scientific research to evaluate technology-enabled product and information analysis, both manufacturers and consumers, to ensure the safety of sustainable practices. Certification or patents are not enough to determine the credibility. Strict regulations by federal agencies on product testing are important, and we must ensure efficacy of the product as advertised by the various manufacturers. Now, the global reusable face mask market exhibited strong growth during 2019 and 20. Some are favored as a washable and reusable mask, and I have invited a couple of experts from IIT who have done some innovative technological use of this. Application of coating of chemical and elemental substance, natural ingredients of plants has made face masks more popular amongst the millennials who are looking for a natural product. And face mask and aesthetically appealing design and prints to attract consumer also is an issue, whether these designer masks are really helpful and useful in preventing. Now, we all know that the antimicrobial property of silver have been well documented throughout history, including the use of ancient Greek and Roman societies in medicine. Potential antiviral mechanism of silver nanoparticles, binding interaction with viral envelope proteins, and inhibiting the virus from binding to the host cell is also well documented. And it has been again concluded the size of the silver nanoparticles are thought to influence their antiviral efficacy. And Dr. Naveen Kumar Navani is an expert who has done innovative work, and I will be inviting him. In order to be useful, safe, and capable of reducing the potential exposure of viruses, it is necessary to implement well-defined evaluation parameters and quality control protocols to improve the product quality and consumer trust. And I'm so happy that Dr. Johri is here and Dr. Kalra can comment on how we can control this. And I mean, just to go by some of the parameters, the CITRA is one of the testing agents in India. And CITRA basically tests 5 parameters. One is a bacterial filtration efficacy in vitro, breathing resistance, splash resistance, flammability, and quality of surgical mask are essential. And these are only for the fabric. They don't test the quality of viral killing capacity. So CITRA certification is only for the quality of the fabric which is used for making the thing. And reusable face mask can be laundered by the CITRA as per the thing we use with a lifetime of not more than 50 cycles of washing. This is again, CITRA has verified about the reusable mask. Now, the international level, which is American Society of Testing and Material, which is also one of the parameters which world over people follow, is a ASTM, which is again qualified different levels. So based on these 5 parameters, which is defined by CITRA, they have defined the level 1, level 2, and level 3. And as per recommendation, minimum level 2 must be adhered to for any surgical mask or a healthcare mask to be useful, or any mask to be useful for the people, general public, for strong COVID wave. So we have to assure that at least level 2 is being followed. Now again, wearing mask, that has been AST, it is also recommended that we must wear a mask with a ASTM rated, will ensure that your nose and mouth are protected against the fluid, microorganism and particulate at the level which mask is rated, whether it is 1, 2 or 3 specification. And again, these masks do not provide protection against airborne diseases, which include the COVID-19. Now, there's the American and UK have got a Consumer Protection Safety Commission under the Consumer Product Safety Act, and is charged with protecting the people from unreasonable risk of injury or death associated with the use of thousands of type of consumer product under agency jurisdiction. And these are again what WHO has described the level of mask and layer. It has to be minimum 3-ply mask, and inner layer must be absorbent. The middle layer has to be filtering material, and outer layer has to be fluid repellent. Whichever type of mask we are using, whether cloth mask, fashion designer mask, or the non-woven fiber mask, these must comply with the WHO recommendation, which is also followed by world over. Now I'm just sharing a small video. This video is not working anyway. This is a small video. This I've done. I will share that separately. This is
just click it. There is one arrow down. Just click it. It will start.
No. Anyway, I'll share that later on. So there are various organizations which are doing this generation of the mask. The ISO we know, ASTM we know, NOISH we know, CITRA and INMS, and all these certification agencies product are to ensure that the validity of claim made by the manufacturer. So we must insist on the manufacturer to display which agency certification their product are carrying, and which needs to be cross-checked at the time by some consumer body at the regular interval. I will like to share at this stage 2 of the Indian innovations which I went through the literature and I personally spoke to them. 2 of the IIT scientists in India have solved this problem by creating a coating of mask which can kill the viruses within minutes. There are several instances of such innovation also. I come from Canada, I also come from US and China, but I'm very proud that 2 Indian scientists, one is Professor Naveen Kumar Navani, who is a professor of biotechnology at IIT Kharagpur, and he has developed a nano coating system of silver nanofiber coating. And welcome, Dr. Navani. Professor Navani to this show. Second is Professor Kapil Punjabi, who is also professor at the IIT Mumbai, and he has developed a cloth mask coating, which is a biodegradable, biocompatible and non-irritant system, which is environmental friendly and can be effective until 20 wash cycles. And I'm very proud that both of them has agreed to come on our discussion to discuss about some points. Now, I don't want to go this thing. This is basically for Dr. Navani to confirm that evidences confirm silver nanoparticles can pose adverse effect on health in both animal and human. The main route for exposure are dermal, respiratory, and oral. Overexposure in rat consists of cytotoxicity response and lungs and neuroinflammation. Occurring of silver nanoparticle in brain and Algeria. There are some airborne particles released from the nanoparticle impregnated product which are there. So at this stage, again, Noish Bulletin recently has commented on the silver nanofiber, and they say that at least exposure of minimum size has to be less than 100 nanometer and size of 103. And at this stage, I would like to invite Professor Navani to come in. Are you there, Professor Navani?
Yes, Dr. Gupta, I am here.
Please. Professor Navani, can you come in and share on your experience on the nano silver coating and what you say about the nano silver coating? Its role, particularly we are interested in fungiciding and the viral side effect.
Right. So antibacterial properties of silver are known for a very long time. And so earlier, probably they were not turning them into nanoform. It was being used as silver nitrate. And as a surgeon, you also know that silver containing compositions are being used medically also. Now, coming down to the effect of silver on human or eukaryotic cells, there is literature available, plenty of literature available, where it has been shown that if silver is used in high concentration, it causes a lot of problems. Sometimes mitochondrial defects have been seen in cell culture studies, though. In some of the aquatic animals, effect of silver nitrate, silver nanoparticles, which somehow escape in the environment through sewage or other material, has been shown to even change the sex also. But one thing that I need to make it very clear, based on whatever experience I have so far, that it is the concentration of silver also that matters, apart from the size. We usually call a particle as nano when it is less than 100 nanometer. 100 nanometer or less than, then only it is called in nano range. So your first point, as shown by NIOSH bulletin here, is very pertinent. But the concentration of silver, how much we are using, is also important. So we have been trying to find a way around, because silver is an excellent antibacterial, antimicrobial insecticide also. So how to reduce the concentration of silver below the concentration that it will be toxic to the eukaryotic cells? And the answer that we have found is in synergy. So if you use two antibacterials, then in Hindi, as we call as ek or ek gyara, that effect is shown by two antimicrobials when they are used together. But the problem is we have to screen a lot. We have to screen for the combinations of these compounds. And we have been able to find out such combinations thanks to my hardworking students here in BSB department at IIT Roorkee. So I am not at Kharagpur, I am in Roorkee. So we have found few combinations which are actually acting in synergy. So synergy is when we are calculating the fractional inhibitory concentrations. So you have MIC, which we call as minimum inhibitory concentration of silver, and you have MIC of another compound that we find is antibacterial and is safe also. So when you combine these two, the fractional inhibitory concentration falls beyond 0.5, sorry. So if it is beyond 0.5, below 0.5, then we know they're acting in synergy. So what happens is you have to use less concentration of both the antimicrobial as compared to when you were using individually. So to make it again clear, what I want to say here is that if you were having, you were supposed to use 50 microgram of silver and 100 microgram of another compound, when they are acting in synergy, maybe you have to use only 15 or 20 microgram of silver and even lesser of the other compound. So this way we can come around these issues of toxicity associated with silver, but definitely it is there. But one more thing we have to keep in mind is that, one, are you having direct exposure to the skin when you are wearing the mask? Is the coating on the outer surface or somewhere in the middle layer of the mask? That is also important. So that is where we thought in my lab, we developed a coating which can be put on the surface. But our masks, they do not conform to CITRA regulations or the standards, because we have just bought masks from the market, and then we have tried to see what is the coating over there, how do we coat it in a very easy manner. And we have tested the antibacterial on all the escape pathogens. So there are like 7 categories of pathogens as declared by CDC also. So we have tested on all of them. So bacterial pathogens, they are killing. One way that people are showing the effect of these coatings, antiviral effect of these coating, is on bacteriophages rather than the real phages, real viruses. So I think that is where we also need to discuss that what is the best way of testing it, because bacteriophage, it will definitely kill, because it will kill the bacterium, and the phage actually infects the bacterium. So bacterium is killed, then the phage is also not able to replicate. So that kind of small caveat we have to keep in mind, that we should be testing these masks on real viral samples. And we have to find a way. For the past 1 year, I am trying to approach, I have approached ICMR, I have approached ILS, DBT institutes also. So their reply was, we are swamped with work or we cannot do it. So that is where I am also hoping that this gathering.
Dr. Anita Chakravarti can guide you how to go ahead with the viral testing.
Yeah.
And Dr. Nawani, I got another question. Is your technology patented on your name, or it is a common use technology?
So that actually we have, because we worked in IIT Roorkee towards this. So a couple of my students and myself, we have filed a patent for this.
Okay.
Because you will get an early approval of patent, and maybe it can come in the market as soon as possible. Otherwise, you come into market without a patent.
Yes, Dr. Arun, I mean, I agree with you, but the strongest point that we need to address, and I really will appreciate help from this August gathering, is testing our composition on real viruses, respiratory viruses, rather than, I wouldn't like to test them on bacterial viruses, bacteriophages, because that's like, what I feel is that's not the real testing actually.
Dr. Sunila Garg and Dr. Anita Chakravarti can really help you because they are in the expert committee and they are in the particular field. And maybe we can share your details and document with both of them for the process. Thank you, Dr. Nawani. Before I move on to Dr. Kapil Punjabi, Dr. Jamkar, you want to add something on this, or shall I proceed?
I think I must appreciate the efforts of Dr. Nawani, because first time we are using nanoparticles, and we achieve the aim of say getting silver inside your body too less to harm you. I think that's why I congratulate him. So let us hear the next speaker so that we can discuss.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Nawani. And if you can stay back with us, we'll be appreciated for more question and answer.
Sure, so I am here till 11:45, sir. I have next meeting at 11:45. So I am really sorry for that.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah,
sure, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, phages are just viruses which transport bacteria inside them. So as you said, I think it's an important thing to test directly for viruses, because bacteriophages are just sort of, like you have phages which are transmitting staphylococci, or phages which have Corynebacterium diphtheria in it. So just phage testing, I would not say would be of immense importance. Directly testing for viruses would be of it would be important. There is an institute, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, and they have Dr. Vidya Arun Kale. She is from NIV Pune. They have an excellent lab. If they are not overworked, I would suggest that you can talk to them once. They are very good in this field.
So, ma'am, I just want to mention that, yeah, sorry, may I come in?
Okay, please.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So, actually, first response that I had was to mail Director of National Institute of Virology about our invention.
Sir, there is another mobile which is telecasting. Just stop that.
Okay, can I go ahead? So NIV director forwarded my request to ICMR, and when I talked to ICMR scientists, they said you have to go to some other institute. I wrote to the director of that institute, which was the Regional Center for Biotechnology and the Translational Health Research Institute in outskirts of Delhi. So they wrote back that we have samples, too many samples.
We can discuss later on, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Short. Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, if it is based in Pune or Miraj, I have very strong connection. Dr. Jamkar is also connected with that, and we can definitely help you in getting across to the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth Department of Virology. And we'll stay in touch with you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. Any more question to Dr. Nawani?
Sir, I have a very small question. Can you permit me? This is J.K. Gupta from BIS.
Please, yes.
Dr. Nawani, I want to ask, you are using this bacteriophage X174, which is basically used this under ISO 16604, where we have specified a test for antiviral penetration basically. Now you are actually working in a direction where you are killing those bacteriophage, which is also not right. You yourself said that. Now we have a test where we are now specifying the requirement for a antiviral penetration test, especially in the PPE kits. And then we use this bacteriophage X174. So can you please throw some light? Which is
so Dr. Gupta, there are two parts here. So what you are talking about is, so you need a standard which can, somehow allow us to know whether the particular fabric is allowing this standard to go inside or not. So I think that is where you're using this virus, this E. coli virus, bacteriophage, right? So what I am saying here is that is fine. If you just want to see the filtration efficiency, maybe it is okay. But if you want to claim that it is antiviral, so antiviral means it should kill, okay? Not that it should not allow the virus to go in. So for antiviral, I am pretty sure that we will have to look at the respiratory virus and not the E. coli phages. So this is what my take is on it.
Okay, but only my small input on that, because this particle for this bacterial filtration efficiencies, the size of this bacteria is about 3 micron, but for the viral they are much lower than the sizes basically.
Sure,
and that is the reason, if you are able to permit not to these viruses are not even being penetrated, so it will indirectly give. But I appreciate your idea, and maybe we can there are some private laboratories also who are doing all this this antimicrobial properties and all. I will also try to give you some input on that.
Sure. It is always welcome, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you both Dr. Gupta and Dr. Professor Nawani. And I will move out to I will invite Dr. Kapil Punjabi. Dr. Punjabi, are you there?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Kapil Punjabi is from the professor at the IIT Mumbai, and he has also developed a very novel technology which is patented and which is also very useful.
I would appreciate all the participants to mute when they are not speaking, so that the echo will go away.
Yeah, Professor Kapil Punjabi, please.
Yeah, good morning all. Actually, I'm not a professor. I've been working with one of the professors, Professor Rinti Banerjee. Unfortunately, we lost her in July, but we are still continuing in the same lab. And I'm actually as a postdoctoral research associate in that lab. So we have developed this. This is her brainchild, and we have developed this technology last year. It has been patented, has been licensed to various companies. And I'll just present in brief what this is about.
I have included your slides. Tell me when to move.
Yeah. So this is how we have patented this last year as an Indian patent. This is also currently under PCT filing. We can move to the next slide. Yeah. So one of the most important things, as Dr. Gupta was mentioning, where are we ending up in this view of pandemic with so much of mass lying in the landfills and water bodies eventually? How are we taking care of our environment also? We should not be just concerned about ourselves not getting the infection, but also about a greater view of our mother nature also. So first of all, whenever we are developing anything, as in for nanotechnology, it is important that we evaluate its toxicity. So here in this case, if you see the figure A, this is the in vitro testing or in the cell lab, where we plate our cells, our normal human cells, and we determine whether the coating is going to have any toxic effects on it. So in case of the normal tissue culture plate, we can see a regular growth. In case of uncoated material, we still see a good growth. And in case of coated, again, we see a good growth. So basically, in the graph, we can see that it has a good cell viability and it is not affect or leading to any toxicity. Further, we moved on to in vivo or in animal testing. So we did two types of testing. One is skin irritation and other is the mucosal irritation, because you're going to wear a mask which is going to be closely associated with your skin and your mucosal lining in the buccal cavity and the nasal cavities. So if at all there is any leaching or any inhalation of particles or something like that, it should not be leading to any toxic or irritant effects. So this has been evaluated on animal studies, and so the coated material, which is any, is scoring as equivalent to 0.9% NaCl, that is score is 0 for irritation. And as compared to SDS, which is a positive standard for skin irritation, the scores are completely 0 in case of skin irritation. And similarly, in case of mucosal irritation also, there was no erythema, no edema ever detected in those animals. So skin irritation has been done in rabbits and mucosal irritation has been done in hamsters. Further, moving to ecotoxicity, as we were just discussing. So what we have, this coating material is kind of a nano emulsion of a lot of bio-based materials, a lot of natural ingredients, a completely natural or naturally derived material, and these belong to FDA GRAS approved material. So GRAS is generally recognized as safe. These are all those materials that are considered safe and in fact fall under the food grade category. So the overall nano emulsion that we make, the coating material that we make, is a biodegradable one, a biocompatible one, and a non-irritant one. It has, because it is FDA GRAS and it is almost like safe, so we can also consider it as a totally environmentally friendly coating material. Further, it is effectively, cross-linked to the fibers of the mask, and then it retains its efficacy for at least 20 wash cycles. And this can be coated. We have tried on various substrates. It can be coated on cotton mask, can be coated on polyester, viscose, rayon, and other such mixed materials. It is also the coating material. It's really easy to make, and it's a very easy coating process. You move to the next slide.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, it's not very clear. But anyways, so first one is basically a schematic of, simply it's like cooking. You have this jar, you mix those ingredients along with water. It's a water-based nano emulsion that you end up with after heating and mixing cycles of half an hour. You have the coating material ready. You simply soak your fabric in those coating material, squeeze it, and air dry it, and your coating is done, and it is ready to either stitch or use it directly if you have used the mask directly to coat it. In the same images over here, we see the fabric and its coating, cross-linked to the fibers of the fabric in the closed inset. I don't know if you can see my cursor over here. So in the closed inset of 200 micron, we can see the particles coated over the fibers of the fabric. And as an indicator of a pH-based indicator, if you see, the coating material will turn yellow. So the cloth materials, if it is uncoated, will remain blue, and if it is coated, it will turn out to be yellow. In the next one is the FTIR, or basically the chemical. The previous slide, please.
Yeah, previous one.
Yeah, previous one. The FTIR, or basically the chemical confirmation of the coating being happening on and being retained on the fabric. So these are FTIR, or what we can say a chemical confirmation of retained coatings on the fabric. And further, there are other confirmations giving us how the charge of the fabric changes once we have the coating. So initial charge, if it is less, after the coating it will change. So these are all chemical confirmations. And then if we look at what is the significant weight gain after the coating, so we have a significant weight gain, and that gives us further confirmation of the coating happening on the fabric. We can move to the next slide. Coming to the antimicrobial data, I am a PhD microbiology, and for me all this was really important to evaluate in the pandemic time, because when we are developing something, it is very important that we are looking forward its efficacy. So eventually we wanted to determine whether it has a very broad spectrum antimicrobial activity. So we evaluated on two bacteria, gram positive and gram negative, and we had a kill time of within 10 seconds, almost 99.9% killing, and it obviously grows on as we move on the time frame. Similarly, in the fungal, we were testing on Aspergillus niger, which is mold, and Candida albicans, which is yeast. And in the viral, obviously, we have tested on NS2 bacteriophage as a surrogate, but eventually we have also tested on the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So if you look at the same micrographs, the viable bacteria on an untreated fabric, and on the treated fabric, all the bacteria has been distorted and killed. Basically, the same is also observed in case of the fungal cells. So these are yeast cells, and in case of treated, you can see they are completely distorted and destroyed. So we have an efficient killing mechanism taking place in this case, and at a shortest time point of 10 seconds. You can move to the next slide. So this is the anti-SARS-CoV-2 activity that we have determined for our coating material. So this was in early stages in March 20, April 20, while India had just struck with this pandemic, but we were determined to develop something and really look forward to its use to the common public. So we were taking real patient samples. This was done in Kasturba Hospital in Mumbai, which was one of the first hospitals declared in India to test for SARS-CoV-2 samples. So we take the actual sample, we mix our coating material with that, and we go ahead for RNA extraction in RT-PCR. And whatever were the specified genes, the N gene, O gene, R gene, for confirmation of virus. So in case of untreated and in case of actual samples or the blank samples where no coating material was added, we could see the presence of the RNA. But in case of the nanomaterial where we added, no RNA was detected. This implies that not only it is breaking down the virus as expected, because we have certain active ingredients in this which will rupture the envelope of the virus, but it also seems to have a very strong RNase activity. Apart from breaking the cell or the envelope, the protein structure, it also seems to be having a good RNase activity. So it is kind of, the nano emulsion has an attract and kill mechanism for this particular virus. And eventually it would also be, extrapolated to all bacterial or all microbial cells. It has a good charge-based attraction and killing mechanism. We can move to the next slide.
Thank you, Mr. Kapil. Can I request you to,
Yeah,
because of the shortage of time and justice to other speakers,
sure.
can I open your presentation to question and answer? Question
Sure.
from some of the experts in our group.
Sure.
I think I will appreciate Dr. Anita to comment. She's a microbiologist.
Yes, virology.
Thank you, Jamkar. Actually, I just wanted to know two things in the procedure. Did the patient wear the mask for a certain time, and did you test the inner surface of the mask?
No. This is not on the patient as such wearing the mask. So this activity is on the VTM. When you collect the sample in the VTM, the swab.
Okay.
So that
you
VTM
the
is,
VTM.
Yes, that VTM is treated with the coating material.
Okay. So that means that these patients had a high threshold of the virus.
Yes,
the CT values were low.
Yeah, these are positive samples that we have used.
And highly positive.
Highly positive, yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's why I wanted to know about it.
So the graph
second is how many times can you use such a mask?
For 20 wash cycles.
The nanoparticles don't get destroyed by washing?
No, because we ensure a good cross-linking of the actives with the fibers, and up to 20 wash cycles is what we have tested. So we recommend up to 20 wash.
Any specific detergent you have to use for washing?
It would be preferred that there is no detergent used, because these have a strong antimicrobial activity. Even if you have to use, you can use a mild detergent for hand wash or machine-based wash.
I just want to add, Professor Kapil Punjabi, yesterday what discussion I had, that basic quality of cloth improves because of the hygroscopic property of the chemical.
Yeah, that's the next coating that we have.
It reduces the pore size of the cloth so that the filtration effect also comes in apart from the bactericidal and virucidal effect. Am I correct?
Yes. So in the subsequent slides, I have defined that also. But
permission of chair, I wanted to discuss it to other speaker also. Any other point?
No, thank you.
Also, Dr. Anita Chakravarti asked, have you tested the mask after use, the inner layer of mask? What is the bacterial and viral load in those masks?
For us?
Yes.
Yeah. So we haven't tested as such, but we have a user feedback, and we also took, some of the used samples and evaluated them under scanning electron microscope. So a similar effect as we saw in the previous slide, that it was destroying all the bacterial, cells that were on the fabric. So it continues to does it positive effect, or its antimicrobial effect until at least 20 wash cycles. So we have allowed people to use it for one shift, that is 8 hours or 2 shifts, and then collected those samples back and evaluated.
Right.
Also, following your discussion, I discussed with Priyanka, and she has agreed to downgrade the type of fabric so that these masks can be made available for a poor people also.
Right.
And with type 1 ASTM category, it could be sold less than 30 rupees.
Right.
While the ASTM level 2 could be higher level. And we agree that the similar coating on a lighter or less quality cloth material will be as effective as otherwise.
Yes, definitely. This has been, licensed across certain industries and also on social angles. So we have been working with some self-help groups also in Bihar and UP, where those women have been, doing it at regular levels and with whatever fabric, cotton-based fabric or whatever simple fabric that they have. So it is happening all across. The process is really simple. There are scope of cutting down on the charges to a great extent.
So
Because
is
the
it
coating,
available at present in market?
yes, this is available at present in market.
Is it a single layer or again a 3-layer mask with coating?
3-layer. I told them to make it 3-layer. They were 2-layer mask, but I insisted on making it 3-layer as per the WHO recommendation.
And all the 3 layers are coated?
Yes, that depends on the industry how they want to take it. Either they want to coat it before and then stitch it, or when they are making the entire mask and then, because this is a dip, coat and dry basically.
Yeah.
So
is it inner coated? Inner coated, the layer inside is coated or the layer outside is coated? Inside.
With the permission of chair, can I invite Priyanka, who is manufacturing this? She's an expert fashion designer and textile manufacturer.
Dr. Kalra, I think the two of the speakers you can invite next time.
No. They are here.
Can wait till the last minute to answer that. I can stop it here and we can invite Dr. Jory.
Yeah, I think first listen to them and then we can invite. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Better idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta.
Sir, can you
Dr. Kalra, let us invite.
Dr. Kalra, can you permit a very small question to to Mr. Kapil Punjabi regarding this? This is JK Gupta from BIS.
Yeah.
Only I want to know about this washing cycles. Whether you have actually followed the standard protocol as per ISO 6330. Maybe because you are claiming that this is suitable for 20 wash cycle. So what I will suggest, you should have a standardized wash cycle so that you will have a repeatable and reproducible result. And I will suggest maybe a temperature of about 40 degrees for this.
Right.
Maybe, I do not know whether you have followed those washing, rinsing, and then drying cycles for that.
Right. So initially, when we were doing this, there was, we did not have much of a literature. But now, since we have so much of expertise and so much of literature, but when those days when we were looking into it, a lot of textile-based, journals we were following, and we got to know that a 0.5% tween, basically a surfactant, has to be used to evaluate these wash cycles. So we have done it, as per those methods. But as you suggest, if there is a standard method, probably we can definitely look into this and, with our industry partners.
I will forward a copy because then we'll give a lot of weightage basically.
Sure, definitely.
So I will forward a copy to you, and then you can discuss the type of the cycle you should use, and then you standardize it. And I will congratulate you for a wonderful thing, sir.
Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Arun. You are mute.
Whom we are inviting next?
Mr. Jory.
Okay. Are you ready, Mr. Jory?
Yes.
Please
good morning. Good morning, everybody. Just to correct, I am not doctor. I am just plain Mr. Not from medical community. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and I've been listening to all the deliberations which have gone on the masks. So I thought, since BIS is here, so I'll just make it clear what is the standards regime right now in India, because as we say in our community, that you have to build quality into the design of the product. So while you're designing, you should be aware what standards apply and what you have to deliver at the end of the day. So some of the innovations that are being attempted must keep in mind what is the standards regime which is going to be there, so that the product they ultimately produce becomes acceptable in the market. Any product which is having health and implications is supposed to be regulated, which means that product standards should be specified by law. So you see pharma and food, two typical examples of regulated regimes. We have Food Authority, which regulates food, and CDSCO, which regulates pharma. Unfortunately, India, while word over medical devices are regulated, unfortunately, India, the medical devices were regulated very, very partially from late 90s up to even today, as of today. With the result that we have a very mixed up right now situation in the market, which I'll try to explain. Medical devices were being notified by CDSCO as drugs and then being regulated earlier. This has gone on for about 20 years, and a certain category, about 27 categories of medical devices have been regulated. Masks are not one of them. In February 2020, CDSCO notified a definition of medical devices, which was intended that any product which falls within that definition will automatically be deemed to be covered under the regulation, which is the right approach to do, because product by product regulation is very difficult. There are hundreds and thousands of medical devices. It's not possible to regulate by product name. Now, this definition was notified in February 2020. So now, from February 2020, you can say that medical devices and masks are medical devices. All masks which are used for medical purposes are medical devices, which are for industrial purposes are outside the purview. So the intent is to regulate medical devices now, and masks are included in that. But since notifying that definition in February 2020, CDSCO also notified a transition plan, which we need to clearly understand. The transition plan was that for 18 months starting 1st of April, all medical device manufacturers in India of non-notified products, because as I said, about 27 categories were already notified for regulation. All non-notified medical devices had been given an option to register voluntarily with CDSCO, along with a ISO 13485 certificate, which is for quality management systems. So the manufacturers had to implement ISO 13485 and then with a certification, go to CDSCO and get themselves registered. This registration period is still on and ends on 30th of September. So therefore, all non-notified medical devices, and unfortunately, I mean, I think it's very ridiculous, but it happened, that all the products that we talk about during COVID times, be it masks, be it PPEs, be it oxygen concentrators, be it pulse oximeters, be it ventilators, all of them as on today are unregulated in India. So anybody can sell any product in the market and there's no guarantee of quality. So you cannot be sure today on what quality is being sold in the market. So as I said, up to 30th September is the period of voluntary registration, after which registration is compulsory. From 1st of October, you cannot sell a product in the market without registration. That would be illegal. However, registration still requires only quality management system certificate and not product compliance yet. So we are still away from product compliance. For class A and B products, low risk medical devices, I would imagine the mask will fall under that category. CDSCO is given 1 year's time for compliance to the legal requirements of the product. So for 1 year, we still have a period when we may not be sure of the quality. Now that is where BIS comes in. The standards which are prescribed are BIS standards as the first choice. If BIS standards are available, and in case of masks, Mr. Gupta will tell you they are available, therefore they have to be complied. Therefore, my suggestion to all of you would be, please start looking at BIS standards, because that is what you will have to comply with. Forget about ISO, forget about ASTM, etc. Popular as they may be, in the Indian market, from August of 2022, you would not be able to sell unless you comply with BIS standards. So that is a requirement. Now, what happened was that Ministry of Textiles fortunately took cognizance of the fact that quality was not being assured of PPEs in the market. They tried a certification system for coveralls to begin with last year, somewhere in March or January. Unfortunately, that system didn't work because it was not designed properly. And ultimately, they chose an easier option, which was to tell BIS, you please go ahead and certify. And we will encourage everybody to certify. Now, slight complication in the market is that the Ministry of Health guideline on PPEs, which exists today, still talks about foreign standards, does not talk about BIS standards.
Yes.
However, Ministry of Textiles advising every PPE manufacturer to go to BIS and get certified. And since in public procurement, BIS certification was asked, yes, people did go and get certified to BIS. So you will find, and Mr. Gupta will again tell you, that there are a number of manufacturers of masks who are whether 3-ply or N95, which is not N95 here, it's called something else. They are certified there. So what assurance you can get in the market is if there is an ISI mark on the mask. Other than that, you have no assurance in the market today that the masks are complying with any standard, whatever claims they may be making. Lot of fraud certificates are available. I could have showed you some certificates claiming, certificates to US FDA compliance, certificates to CE mark. All of them are, generally speaking, fraud certificates, and therefore there is no assurance in the market. So the safest way is, please look at ISI mark for your masks if you're buying masks. The problem again is, and again I would depend on Mr. Gupta to update us. At the request of the government, BIS made it a condition for the manufacturers that they will only sell to government first. I don't know whether that condition has been removed now. So in the market, open market, you may not get ISI marked masks because they are being sold for public procurement to the government. So that could be a problem. As I said, I'll expect Mr. Gupta to clarify. So this is the situation as far as masks are concerned. So we have to be cognizant of the fact, A, that as of today, there is no legal compliance expected from mask manufacturers. B, the legal compliance in some form starts from 1st of October when they have to register, but product compliance still doesn't start. The product compliance gets effective from August of 2023. However, any wisdom would demand that if you are going into mask manufacturing in any way or mask innovation, you keep BIS standards in mind and see that your product complies with the BIS standard, because that's what is going to rule the market from August 20. One more small point I would just add. A lot of cloth masks came in this period. Some countries made what they call barrier masks. They made standards. I have with me 2 standards, one from Ireland, one from France. And I did pass them on to BIS. And again, I'll expect Mr. Gupta to update you on where that barrier mask standard is, if at all it is being made. A common cloth mask, as we say. So there might be a third mask, plus apart from N95 mask at the highest level, which is for healthcare workers, 3-ply mask, which all of us should be using outside healthcare domain. And the third one, the barrier mask, if at all it is coming. With that, I'll close my remarks and expect any questions if there are any. And Mr. Gupta should supplement now from BIS all that I've said about BIS. Thank you very much.
Dr. Johari, is that BIS standard includes standards for nanotechnology and all those masks?
I think I would let Mr. Gupta answer that.
Mr. Gupta will answer that. I think let him now give his comments.
Okay. So let me invite Mr. Gupta so that we can have discussion afterwards after the talk of Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourself briefly.
Sir. I am J.K. Gupta. I am scientist E, equivalent to the director.
Your voice is a little less.
Oh, I will just increase my voice.
Increase the volume, please.
Yes, please hold on. Please hold on, sir. Now it is better, sir?
Slightly better, but still, I think if you can increase further, that will be nice.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, and I think this is, sir, first of all, I actually thanks Johari, sir. Actually, he has actually provided the complete regulatory framework for the mask especially, and I will be actually covering all those points which he has raised already. It was already in my talk, which I already noted. And sir, first of all, I wish to inform, sir, there are 2 Indian standards which are available on this surgical mask, that is IS 16289, and it is equivalent to your ASTM and DS-EN standards. It also specifies the same 3 levels, level 1, 2, and 3, and it specifies the requirement of your bacterial filtration efficiency, then your particle filtration efficiency, then your splash resistance and breathability. These are the 4 very, very important requirements, and these are all in line with your ASTM and DS-EN standards. So as actually informed by Johari sir, I will request, because it will be the law of the land from 1st September 2021 to 31st August 2022, all the person has to actually have the BIS license. Presently, sir, we have granted 53 licenses for this IS 16289, and this list is also available publicly at our website www.bis.gov.in, and on a real-time basis, sir, it is being updated. you can go on the website. I can also share a link where you can see the name of all the manufacturer who has been given the license for this surgical mask, sir. This is governed by a standard called IS 16289 2014. And as actually
So, sir, would you put those link on chat box?
Yes, yes, I will put those, sir. I will put those. And now, as actually was asked by Dr. Kalra and the chairman of this session, presently this coating requirement has not been specified, maybe either by a silver nanotechnology or by any emulsion. But actually, it has given a lot of inputs to me, and then we will be providing this as an optional requirement.
Yes.
Because these are going to be the optional requirements, sir. Once we have the data, so we'll incorporate this requirement in the surgical mask. But the surgical mask, as all of you doctors very well know, there is a big issue in the surgical mask if you see the from the perspective of COVID, because the inward leakage is very poor for this surgical mask, as all of you know. And that is why we are actually all the this frontline professionals are using this N95 mask or FFP2, which we called as per Indian standard. So the advantage of this N90 mask, it is a 5-layer mask, and it has a very good resistance to the inward leakage. If you will see the fitting of any of the surgical mask and the fitting of the N95 mask, so it will greatly will be different, because this surgical mask was designed which is only at the time of the surgeries or when you are near to the patient you have to use it. Now this COVID situation was such a situation, and that is why, sir, we permitted this N95 or FFP2 mask. But I wish to bring one small intervention here. Even this N95 is it is not a medical respirator, sir. It is basically to provide a filtration efficiency to the particulates. And it is thought that because this COVID-19 will fall below that 3 micrometer level, and that is why all over the world they have actually permitted the use of this N95 or FFP2 mask by the even the doctors and staff and the general public also. And now one more actually development is being happened at BIS stage, where we are now converting this respirators to a medical respirator. And where what we are doing, apart from your filtration efficiency of the material and inward leakage, sir, we are specifying the requirement for the bacterial filtration efficiency, splash resistance also in the thing. So this is also at the stage of development at the BIS level. So then it will be a combination of your N95 FFP2 mask and the surgical mask, which is really going to be a very, very good product for all of you, and which may include a optional requirement for your emulsion based applications to provide those maybe antimicrobial properties for 20 washes or 50 washes. And sir, now the point raised by Shri Johri ji regarding the barrier mask, sir, it is a because, sir, you see now there is in a population of 130 to 140 crore in India, hardly the people cannot afford a single day use N95 of a surgical mask. So it is always better to have a standard for the barrier mask. And in the barrier mask, sir, what we are supposed to actually provide, we are only able to provide a bacterial filtration, not the bacterial, it is a particle filtration efficiency and the breathability requirement, apart from the design requirement, your reusability requirement. So that will be used by the general public. And ASTM, FNOR, Ireland, AATCC, these are the word over, they have already brought out those standards. But this FNOR and Ireland standards, they are not covered under the certification design, where you have to ensure the quality. And for this ASTM, this F3502, which has come in 2021, so that will be covered under the certification design. And sir, we are also working, and thanks to Johri sir, he has provided lot of input, and this has also been discussed in our technical committee, and we are working on it. And very soon, sir, we'll bring a mask for the general public, where the requirement, and we will give a caveat, if these masks are not suitable for the medical professionals, sir. So these were the point which I already covered, and as rightly told by Johri sir, Now the only way, sir, instead of seeing your ASTM or CE marking or a US FDA, which are all fake and fraud, sir, I will request, sir, you should, all of the stakeholders, they should look for the ISI mark. And then, sir, if you have any quality issues, we have a very, very strong complaint redressal mechanism online is available. And for this N95 mask, sir, we have granted 261 licenses as on today. So the availability of this mask will not be the issue at all. This FFP2. Now even the people are providing a N95, 99 or FFP3 mask also has also been provided under the domain. So this is all which I have to say on the standardization aspect. So the 3 masks are available. IS 16289. I will share a link and I will provide a copy of this standard also to the organizers so that they can dissipate it. And these standards are also freely available on our website. And this N95 standard is, sir, IS 9473. And it is also in line with EN 149, your this NEO standard, and your other ASTM and EN standard. It is all equivalent on that, sir. So this is what all I have to say. And now we are ready to take any question along with Jory, sir.
I just want to add, Dr. Gupta, that in US, at least the hospital, they're already giving a N95 and surgical mask combination, which I used it, and it was very, very effective and safe. So it has become already reality in some of the countries of N95 with surgical mask benefits.
Sir, but if we'll give a medical respirator which will meet the requirement of the both of the masks, then the doctors do not have to actually, it will be very difficult for you to breathe and you will get a lot of sweat while using these 2 masks, sir. And if we are able to provide a medical respirator, it will make your life easy. And that is the job from the national standard body, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Come in, RNG.
Yeah, I think we'll have a few more questions. Can we go ahead for another 10 minutes?
Yeah, please. May I come in?
Ask a question to Dr. Gupta, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Gupta, you are talking about the respirator. Now, the respirator will pass on the infection outside. So how will the respirator act? Because we are dealing with BSL-2 pathogens. See, corona is a BSL-2 pathogen. It is not a BSL-3, in which you need, the respirator, completely tight-fitted thing with the oxygen thing, oxygen system fitted to that outfit and all. So the respirator will take out the viruses or the bacteria. That is what, that is what is. Yes, please.
I will. Actually, madam, when I am talking about a medical respirator, this the 5-layer filtration material will not allow any of the bacteria to go inside. And especially for the setting where you people are working, I will never advocate a inhalation or a exhalation valve also to be used in the that is the point. So that the provision has already been provided, but I will never advocate. And that is why if you provide a exhalation valve, and then there will be chances of the bacteria to go inside, and then it will be a problem for the person who are near to you. So it will not, and the best part of this respirator is, madam, it has the fitting of this is so good, it will not even allow the inward leakage from the noses and the sides actually. So that is why word over this is being used, but it is not providing you the full protection. It is to be actually used with PPE and you are this SCBAs and all, which always you use the this oxygen thing during the hospital settings.
Dr. Gupta, these standards, they are not downloadable on the website.
Sir, I will share a link. Actually, only you have to a very, very small procedure. You have to actually register by putting your name, email, and mobile, nothing else. And then you can download all the standards. Sir, I will share a link, sir.
I tried even last night also, but I could not download any single standards. Sir, other thing, second question. Now we are facing a threat of 3rd wave immediately, and we are already losing people for this COVID infections. And standards will become mandatory from 22.
Right, sir.
So why during this period, what can be done to make the quality of the mask, quality masks are available in the market? What can be done? Because in the market, 90% of the face masks we see, they do not comply with any standard. They're poor quality.
I got your point, sir. As Jory sir has already told, sir, I will request and suggest that, sir, you look for the ISI mark on N95. There will be a IS number 9473 over the ISI mark, and the below the license number will be there. So you can verify. We have a BIS Care app also, and you can write. So that is the only available avenue presently. Sir, you please take only the ISI mark material for your surgical mask and for your N95 mask. So that will ensure your quality. And if you have any issue, you do write to us. You will immediately get a quick response if you are happen to have some problem in that, sir.
Just
Mr.
one question.
Mr. Gupta, I have a mask which is
Yes, sir.
ISI here,
Right,
where
sir,
it
right,
is
sir.
written as a CML 7800
Yes, sir.
52417.
Perfectly, sir. This is the license number, and now you can go to our website and find whether it is a genuine IS mark or it is a fake ISI mark. I can share a link. We have a BIS Care app which you can download on your mobile, and you feed this number, and you will get all the detail of this license.
Okay. There's some Dr. Ira Gupta wants to have some question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to know, how is it easy and all this information easily available for the general public?
Yes, ma'am. I will be
because
sharing...
everybody, sir, because general public, for everybody, it is not possible to go on the website of the BIS or the textile ministry and then verify whether these masks are ISI approved masks because many a times I've seen many companies are putting the BIS mask or ISO mask symbol on their product, and even though they don't even have the licenses.
Yes, ma'am. You said very right, madam. We have two options. That is why, madam, we started this BIS Care app. Now everybody has this smart mobiles, ma'am. So you can, just like you may be downloading so many apps, so you can also download one more app, and you have to simply enter that number which Dr. Jamkar sir has told, and you will be able to find the genuinity also. And even, madam, if you have any issue, you can write to us, and you will definitely they are centrally recorded, and we have a very strong redressal mechanism, ma'am.
But so if I am going to the market and buying the mask, and I'm in an emergency and I have to buy the mask, I don't have that much of time and patience to verify from the, and to be honest, sir, like you told us, so we have come up to know about this app, but it is not everybody is not aware about such apps and facilities.
Madam, I will suggest you look for the ISI mark. 99.9% of the cases it will be perfectly okay, madam. We are raiding the people also who are doing this fake and fraud. Jory sir will he has been involved with us. He will also supplement on that. So, if we find.
So my question is, sir, even though the company has a ISI mark, even though the company has a BSI license, the company has got all the license, what is the guarantee that the mask which is there inside the product is the quality mask? Because few months back, when I visited the Ministry of Textile website on the issue of this mask, it specifically mentioned that for the quality, the consumer has to check. It is on the consumer itself. He has to check the quality itself.
No, madam, no. It is not correct. Once it is ISI
I have a screenshot. I can share it on this.
Madam, Ministry actually at that time, it may be last year. Madam, that is the guarantee the BIS is giving. The consumer may not be knowing. If you have, madam, I will advise you buy a ISI mark material without fear. And if you have any issue, then you write, madam, it will be 99.9%. You will not have any issue. And that is we are the custodian from that angle, and will ensure the quality of those masks. And madam, we are operating a type 5 scheme where we are drawing the sample from the market. We are making a surprise visit to check their quality. So those checks and balances are already in place, so that the customer is not cheated. And apart from that, even though then there is some issues there, we cancel their license. We put them lot of monetary this punishments and all, and then we put on our website. So all the mechanisms are very well in place, madam. And this is one of the stringent type 5 scheme, which is internationally word over is used for this type of a safety items, ma'am.
Just
one question.
Mr. Gupta, I would appreciate if you just tweet whatever you are saying today in maybe 3 lines, and
Right,
everybody
sure.
of us will retweet.
One,
That
Right.
will go through a social media.
one question, last question I can ask. In continuation
yes.
of what Ira has asked you, Professor J.K. Gupta, Citra website has mentioned that 80 to 90% of the fabric they have tested has failed in the requirement of the Citra. So as per the BIS and Citra, how many of these fake companies have been booked either by you or by other regulatory agencies for supplying the fake or misusing the certification? Have you got any data on this?
Sir, this data is very, very specifically for the fabric who has the capability for this antiviral property, sir. Because this was one of the concern, because as Dr. Naveen has also told, now what we are doing, sir, we are using for this bacterial filtration efficiency, we are using either a NaCl aerosol or a paraffin wax aerosol for solid and liquid penetration. And in the surgical mask, sir, we use the latex spandex latex rubber aerosol, and which are about 3 micron. And this bacteriophage, sir, this X174, they are much smaller in size, and they are equivalent to your size of the COVID-19. And sir, now still as on today, the capability of the Indian manufacturer is limited, especially if you will see the filtration of these viruses or the viral used by this viral penetration mechanism as per ISO 16604. And where I need the help of the IIT people who has actually developed the coating, which will be able to kill apart from the filtration. So those data which you have told is for the viral penetration. Apart from that, N95, the pass percentage is very high. So they are using a SMS or SSMMS material, which is and inside there is a cotton material so that it will absorb, and outside is a fluid repellent material. Inside you have a SMS material. And now there are 7-8 companies, and they all are the world-class companies, which is able to provide a bacterial and this particle filtration efficiencies of required quantity. And even a nano web developed by this DRDE Gwalior, it is being licensed to few of the people, and Atira Ahmedabad is making, where you are able to get a efficiency up to 99%. So those requirements which you have told was an old one, which is related to your viral penetration, because this Citra is very, very closely associated with us. Every day we have an interaction or meeting with them. Dr. Vasudevan,
yes,
the director, is known to me. We have a weekly meeting with him all the time.
And Dr. Anil Kumar, you can have your question now.
I just wanted to ask Dr. Gupta, actually, normally the standards are by BIS or any government agency, but the implementation is the big issue. So you have any linkage with the government agency who are implementing, and any kind of the monitoring mechanism there, particularly in the shops and the medical store? I mean, you're getting the, as per standard, the material, or some kind of monitoring mechanism is there for by regulatory authority?
Right, sir.
Let me, Gupta, JK, let me clarify that.
Sir has already actually thrown.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I think everyone needs to understand clearly who is what in this scenario.
Yeah.
Number one, I made it clear there is no regulation as of today, so there's no question of regulatory authority taking any action.
Yeah.
In future, there's going to be CDSCO as the regulatory authority, and states have their, drug inspectors and their drug machinery is there in the states, which is present. But today it can't act because there is no regulation in place. Second, when it comes to BIS certification is voluntary generally. It is voluntary in case of masks also, and therefore you may not find all masks have to go through BIS certification process. Only those who are willing to, they would go through. If BIS has, if there is any misuse of BIS mark, certainly BIS has powers. I have been a BIS officer myself, and I have myself raided premises. So I have the direct experience of having raided them and ordered raids as head of Lucknow office of BIS. So BIS does have powers to go search and seize, and I even raided dealers or traders if they would not give me information from where did they get the mask, which masks, or in my case something else was there with fake ISI mark. I raided them. I raided a press which was printing fake ISI mark stickers. I went ahead and raided and seized his computer. So those mechanisms are there. But again, I'm making it clear, BIS has a very limited role as far as certification is concerned. It can only act if its mark is misused. or it can act if somebody who holds a license of BIS provides substandard quality. It can certainly act, withdraw the certification, suspend the certification, get you a replacement, etc. The regulatory powers do not come into play until August 1st September of 2022, as far as masks are concerned. So we are in a very, you can say a very poor situation of masks being so important in this time, and yet not being sure of quality, except if you buy ISI mark. As Mr. Gupta said, 99% cases, ISI mark would be genuine. 1% case, yes, you may come across, then report to BIS. It's their responsibility to go and raid and prosecute that person who is putting fake ISI mark. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So can we have a copy of that notification which says that the regulatory measures will come on 1st September 2022?
Oh yes, there is a regulation. There is a the CDSU issued a notification last year in February, I think 11th February. I have that copy, and certainly I can pass on to Dr. Kalra, and he can share with all of you. There is a copy
registration of a product
which gives the transition.
So much of information.
Which gives the transition.
15-page document for registration.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Last question. May I have last question, Dr. Gupta?
Yes, sir.
When we talk about the standards of this mask, we talk about filtration, particulate, bacterial, and other things, and even splash resistance. Right. What about breathability? The first quality of mask, it should be breathable, because most of us, if we wear for a long time, we feel difficulty in the problems breathing.
But it is available.
So standard, is there standard taking care of breathability also?
Yes, sir. It is one of the very prime requirement. The requirement is 29.4 Pascal, which is about 3 mm of water column. Which is much stringent. Even the ASTM, which have a 5 mm water column.
Okay, that part will take care of the breathability.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, okay. And this is at 8 liters per minute, which is one of the nearest to our breathing capabilities, sir.
Yeah.
It is one of the very prime requirement.
It is a prime requirement.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I think, shall we end it now?
I think already we have crossed much.
Yeah. So let me thank everybody. I think you have done a great service. I'll be requesting Dr. Kalra to send me URL of YouTube link, so that I'll have a small summary of today's discussion on LinkedIn and Facebook, so that it can be disseminated further, because it's a topic of national interest. So I want all of you to use social media to disseminate this knowledge. I think that's one small thing we can do, because nobody knows where to appear. Thank you, Dr. Kalra, for inviting me as a chairman. So Mike is with you.
Thank you. I think today it was very informative, and we need to, whatever we have learned today, there were so many new things we came to know today, and we should disseminate this information to all our fraternity and in the social media, for even the public. Common people, common man is not knowing how to get a quality mask, where to approach, who to whom. Now today we have got a lot of clarity. I think we will circulate these minutes to whatever number possible. And thank you, our special guest today, Mr. Johri, Mr. Gupta, Professor Naveen, and Mr. Kapil Punjabi ji, and Dr. Ashok Gupta, and Dr. Jamkar, Dr. Sunila, and everyone, Dr. Anita, who has participated and the part of this group. Thank you, and see you again.
My suggestion, Dr. Kalda, next topic should be biomedical waste hazard, particularly keeping the PP kit and mask being discarded.
Okay, sure. Mr. Anil is here. Anil ji.
Yes, sir.
Very important.
Next Saturday, आपका.
There is a
biomedical waste जो है, disposable waste को कैसे manage करना है, especially because of COVID. So वो फिर next आपका.
Yeah, there are regulations, there are biomedical waste rules already in place. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a special modification also has been done to take care of the biomedical waste generated by this mask and other PPE things.
But we have to discuss the challenges also.
Yeah, there are challenges. Challenges are always there. This is what we learned today. Even the government is, we find how difficult. They have postponed the standards till 22nd. And today we are facing the third wave.
My effort was to bring Indian technology, IIT. I mean, they are supporting the medical people so much with the technological innovations.
Yeah, but silver part probably needs more and more research, and we need to confirm the safety first, because there are a lot of toxic effects also of the silver coating. Till we are sure and more work is done, only then we can allow the silver coating. The other coating, which already has been patented and being used in some part of the country, I think is very good.
Dr. Kalra, before closing, let me have your URL of YouTube.
हाँ, I will ask Saurabh to share. I will share with you.
ये अभी मैंने भेज दिया है आपके chat में भी आ गया है. It has come on your chat and it will also go into the group.
ठीक है.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
It has come, sir. It has come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you next week, same time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, very lovely and informative session, sir. Very lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think the coding part, definitely now you are wiser to incorporate that part into the standards.
Yes, sir. It is really given a lot of insight to me. Sir.
Yes.
Really good. Man.
Although this is an old technology, I have been reading this for last 2 years.
Right.
But mature, this is the right time to incorporate these things into the standards. Thank you.
Especially developed by IIT Mumbai was a really promising one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.